Hello everyone, this is Shankar. Hope you are doing well. So we have started making Apache Kafka series of videos. It is the part 5. So Apache Kafka playlist I added in courses. I will provide this link in description of this video. Coming to video, post up server in Apache Kafka. So post I will start the Apache Kafka server and I will use bootstrap server to fetch the topics. List of topics. So post Kafka Kafka hyphen server hyphen start dot bat. Check the spellings. Kafka hyphen server hyphen start dot bat. The Kafka hyphen server hyphen bat dot Kafka hyphen server hyphen start dot bat space. We need to pass the server dot properties path. For that, go to inside the Kafka in bin folder, in config folder, server.properties will be there. So more options, properties, security. This is the full path. Copy. Don't paste anywhere. Directly paste in the here. So enter. It will start the Apache Kafka server. So if you see these so many logs, right? That means Apache Kafka is up and running. After that, open new CMD command prompt. So to see all topics in this Apache Kafka server, where to all topics will be available. So under the broker, where broker is available under the cluster. So where this cluster will be available, it is the one of the part in the architecture, right? Kafka architecture. So I will explain in this video more. I will focus about post up server. So post up server address, right? So what contains post up server address? So it contains the host and port. So a bootstrap server is the address of a Kafka broker, right? Inside broker topics will be there. So we will connect to the Kafka broker via bootstrap server. For initial connection, we will connect it. After that, so inside the broker, topics are available, replicas are available, offset will be available, key available, multiple available. So we will discuss one by one in continuous videos, right? So by using post up server address, we are connected to the Kafka broker, right? So now what it will do, Kafka broker, it will, so what will happen? So it contains the cluster information, nothing but other broker information. Entire cluster metadata will be available on each broker. Every each broker have other brokers information. So and each broker contains the entire cluster metadata. So let's run a one command. So for usage, or to use the post up server properties, I will show suppose Kafka hyphen topics.bat Kafka hyphen topics.bat. After that hyphen list. So after that hyphen post up hyphen server space localhost colon 9092. So Kafka hyphen topics.bat hyphen list hyphen bootstrap hyphen server localhost colon 9092. Let's understand about this command, right? Towards the bootstrap server. I will more focus about the bootstrap server. So see, see, so see here. So hyphen bootstrap server, right? So hyphen bootstrap server, hyphen bootstrap server, localhost 9092. So it is a bootstrap server. Server contains what is this? This is nothing but host. This is nothing but port. So here, observe carefully. Bootstrap, bootstrap server, bootstrap server. What contains? It contains the host. It is a local host port. What we will do? What we will do by using these? We will connect to cluster. Cluster. How? Via broker. Via broker. Via broker. So via broker. So for example, cluster is there. Contain three brokers. Cluster have three brokers are there. So broker. So cluster have three brokers. That means broker -1 have localhost colon 9092 and second broker have localhost colon 9093. Third broker have localhost 9094. So that means what we will understand here. See what we will understand here. Each broker have unique bootstrap address. Each broker have unique bootstrap address. So each each broker have unique unique bootstrap address. Unique bootstrap address. Right? Understand, right? What is bootstrap? Bootstrap contains the host and port. By using bootstrap address, we will connect to the cluster via broker, right? Via broker. So for only for so for only initial connection, initial connection, initial connection. After that, what will happen? What will happen? So what will happen? Client Client means client application. It will like a producer application will interact directly with the broker. Broker will interact with the directly with the broker, right? So here where we are placing this bootstrap server address. So in client app, it is maybe producer application, consumer application. We are placing the in client app. We are adding the bootstrap bootstrap server address. We are adding the bootstrap server address in where we are adding bootstrap server address in client application. What will happen by using that bootstrap server address? We are connecting. We are connecting to the cluster via broker. So it's all about the bootstrap server. So I will repeat one more time. A bootstrap server is the address of a Kafka broker. So bootstrap server nothing but it is a broker address. Bootstrap server contains host and port. By using that, we can connect the cluster via broker for initial connection, right? Each broker has a unique address I mentioned, right? Yeah. So each broker has a unique address. So a bootstrap server, see, a bootstrap server is the address of a broker. Address of a broker. This are broker address. Contain the bootstrap server. Right? We are connecting to the cluster. By using bootstrap server, we are connecting to the cluster via broker. Right? Via broker. So via broker. A bootstrap server is the address of a Kafka broker. Each broker has a unique address. So address contains port and port, right? So where we are adding bootstrap server address, In client application, use a bootstrap server host and port. Like assume like we are developer producer application that we are added right bootstrap server address to establish an initial connection to the Kafka broker. Why we need bootstrap server to establish an initial connection to the Kafka broker. So each broker maintains metadata about the entire cluster. So each broker have a copy of entire metadata about the cluster. So each broker maintains metadata about the entire cluster metadata. Every broker have. So let's add the so every broker have entire cluster metadata. Metadata. Every broker have entire cluster metadata, right? So including topics, partisans, readers, and replicas. After obtaining this metadata, the client communicates directly with the appropriate brokers in the cluster. So, a bootstrap server is simply the host and port. If someone is asked what is the bootstrap server, it contains the host and port address of a Kafka broker. For example, localhost caller 9092. That clients use for the initial connection to the Kafka cluster. So host of server helps the client connect to the Kafka cluster via any broker. Suppose here three brokers are there. How I need to add? I want to connect three brokers in single application. How I need to add host of servers like localhost colon 9092 comma localhost 9093 comma like that like bootstrap server some equal some property will be there after that comma separated values comma separated host and port like that we need to add. So basic understanding we got right. So I will run this. After that I will add some bullet points about so bootstrap server enter. So this Kafka hyphen topics dot bad hyphen list hyphen bootstrap server. This is the host and port. Nothing but it will list the all topics. Enter. So see FST topic, FST producer topic, sample one. There are three topics are there. Hyphen consumer hyphen offset. This is also topic, but it is used in internally. Apache Kafka software it will be used internally. This is also I will explain later videos. So let's write some note points. Right. So let's write some note points. Host server. Let's copy these commands. Notepad. So today our topic is bootstrap server. So post one Kafka server start. After that list out all topics. For that this command. So this command. So now what is bootstrap server? So let's remove this here. This is the Kafka server start command. List out all topics command. Now I will explain some theory points about what is bootstrap server. So as of now I have not shown right how to stop this server. How to stop CMD server. So to stop this, so to stop this, we need to enter ctrl plus C. This command we need to enter. So it will ask, then we need to enter the S. So see here. So C, Control C. Control C. It is asking terminate batch job. It is asking yes or no. Say yes. Done. Clear. Close this. So I will add here 4 points about bootstrap server, one example and two MCQs. Then you will get full clarity about what is bootstrap server. A a bootstrap a bootstrap server is the address of a Kafka broker. Kafka broker. Each each broker have a each broker have a unique address. So host colon port will be there. Host colon port will be there. So second point, a bootstrap server is the address of a Kafka broker. Nothing but bootstrap server contains the address. Address, what is address means host and port. So second one, client application. Client applications use a bootstrap. Client application use a bootstrap server. Nothing but host colon port, right? To establish an initial connection to a Kafka broker. Initial connection to a Kafka broker. The client application. That means in our case, producer application we developed. Producer application use a bootstrap server, host and port to establish an initial connection to a Kafka broker. After that, what will happen after that initial connection? It will directly, our client application directly interact with the broker. Broker contains like topics, partitions, offset, etc. Right? So that's it. So here, client applications use a bootstrap server, port to establish an initial connection to a Kafka broker. So each broker maintains about the entire cluster, comma, including topics, comma, partitions, comma, leaders, comma, and replicas. I will explain one by one later videos. After obtaining this metadata, the client communicates directly with the appropriate brokers in the cluster. Appropriate brokers in the cluster. So it is a second point. So I will add third point. A bootstrap server is simply the host colon port address of a Kafka broker. So for example, localhost colon 9092, right? That client use for the initial connection to the Kafka cluster. So initial connection to the Kafka Kafka cluster, right? So last point, a bootstrap server helps the client or producer. Suppose producer application or client app to connect, client app to connect to the Kafka cluster, Kafka cluster via any broker. So see, sometimes like I am saying like bootstrap server have the broker address. So how it will be connected, you may get right. How it will be connected to cluster, right? By using so broker address needed for the bootstrap server to interact with the cluster. Like so, every broker have cluster metadata, right? So it will try to interact the broker. It will goes to the broker. First, it will try to interact with the broker. So here in cluster metadata have broker details. So post it will interact with the cluster metadata. Every broker contains the cluster metadata information, right? So these are the four important points. Once I will repeat, after that I will give one example. What is bootstrap server? A bootstrap server is the address of a Kafka broker. Each broker have a unique address, port and port. So for better understanding, I will right now also I will give the example. Example, bootstrap, bootstrap server like localhost colon 9092. Or suppose multiple brokers are there. Then localhost colon 9092 comma localhost colon 9093 comma localhost colon 9094. So here what is bootstrap server? A bootstrap server is the address of a Kafka broker. So here it is a broker. Suppose broker. So this is the bootstrap server address, open port. It is a broker address. It is they are called the three brokers addresses, right? Addresses. So what is bootstrap server? A bootstrap server is the address of a Kafka broker. So bootstrap server have the broker address. Each broker has a unique address, port and port. See, there are the three brokers addresses, right? See, unique ports, right? So second one, client applications use a bootstrap server, port and port. So client application, nothing but producer application. Where developer producer application, application.properties were added at bootstrap server. P value pair in that value were added local host colon 9090. Client applications uses a bootstrap server port colon port to establish an initial connection to a Kafka broker. Each broker maintains about the entire cluster. So including topics, partitions, loaders, and replicas. So after obtaining this metadata, the client communicates directly with the appropriate brokers in the cluster. So initially need bootstrap server to initial connection. After that, so clients itself it will connect to the brokers, appropriate brokers in the cluster. Cluster contains multiple brokers, right? Cluster have the so broker have the cluster metadata information. So a bootstrap server is simple the port address of a Kafka broker. For example, localhost colon 9092 that clients use for the initial connection to the Kafka cluster. A bootstrap server helps the client app to connect to the Kafka cluster via any broker. For example, bootstrap server. Say this is the single bootstrap server. It have the a broker. If multiple bootstrap servers, then these are the three broker addresses. Single bootstrap server, it will connecting into three brokers, right? So MCQ, there are two MCQs are there. Once we will discuss, then we will wind up this video, right? So what does a bootstrap server contain in Apache Kafka? What does a bootstrap server contain in Apache Kafka? So suppose it is a one MCP question, a brokers bootstrap server contains in Apache Kafka. Brokers, no, it will not available in brokers. Brokers are there inside bootstrap server? No, 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 it is the wrong. So cluster metadata. No, it is wrong one. Third one, partitions. No, it is wrong one. T1. So address. What address? Host colon host and port address. So answer is D. So what does a bootstrap server contains in Apache Kafka? Answer is the address. What address? Host port address of the broker or brokers. If multiple are there. So second one, bootstrap bootstrap server in Apache Kafka. Apache Kafka is primarily used for storing messages. No, it is the wrong one. Next, processing messages. No, it is the wrong one. Third one, initial client connection to the Kafka cluster. So C is right. Replicating partitions. So replicating partitions. Answer is C. So bootstrap server in Apache Kafka is primarily used for initiating client connection or producer connection to the Kafka cluster by using the OAuth and POST. So thank you for watching. In this video, we have successfully understand about what is bootstrap server in Apache Kafka, right? So thank you for watching. For more videos, please subscribe to this